TSMC's move has led to a lot of discussions about the competition between China and the United States in technology, the relationship between TSMC and the US government, and the future development of China's chip industry. Why did TSMC make this decision at this time? Are there deeper geopolitical considerations behind this decision? How should China's chip industry deal with the global technology blockade? TSMC stopped supplying high-end chips to the mainland. TSMC's announcement was not sudden. As early as the beginning of 2024, the U.S. Department of Commerce had begun to put pressure on TSMC to restrict the export of high-end chips to mainland China, especially those 7-nanometer and more advanced process chips used in artificial intelligence and high-performance computing. The United States' intention to do this is obvious, which is to prevent mainland China from developing in the field of cutting-edge technology, especially in cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, 5G, and quantum computing. On November 11, 2024, TSMC officially announced that it would suspend the supply of high-end chips to mainland China. A TSMC spokesperson also said, "Our company will strictly abide by all international regulations and export control policies." The Financial Times of the United Kingdom also mentioned that TSMC did this not only to comply with U.S. laws, but more to show goodwill to the U.S. government after Trump became president again. It is not easy for TSMC to make this decision. TSMC is an extremely important chip foundry in the world. Its customers are all over the world, including technology giants such as Apple, Nvidia, and AMD. The share of the Chinese mainland market should not be underestimated. In 2024, 11% of TSMC's revenue came from mainland China. Although the proportion of AI chips is relatively small, the strategic significance of the Chinese market is much greater than the numbers show. The technological competition between China and the United States is becoming increasingly fierce, and TSMC is sandwiched between these two major economies and is under tremendous pressure. The U.S. government continues to increase its pressure on China. The sanctions on technology companies also require TSMC and other important suppliers to fully cooperate. From another perspective, mainland China is a key market for TSMC. Chinese technology companies such as Huawei and Baidu have a huge demand for high-end chips. If TSMC stops supplying, it will inevitably affect the business development of these companies. TSMC made this decision after Trump's victory, which is obviously to please the U.S. government in order to prevent more stringent sanctions in the future. As the Financial Times analyzed, TSMC did this not only to deal with the current situation, but also to plan for the future market. TSMC has issued a certificate that all high-end chips sold to mainland China in the future must be approved by the U.S. government, which shows that TSMC has closely aligned its interests with the U.S. government. Tightly tied together. Although TSMC's supply cut has had a certain impact on China's chip demand, the actual impact may not be as serious as the outside world thinks. Why? You see, 11% of TSMC's revenue comes from China, and AI chips account for a small proportion of this. China's technology companies, such as Huawei and Baidu, have a great demand for high-end chips, but they are also actively looking for alternatives. Now, American companies such as Nvidia and Intel can still provide some high-end chips to China, but the U.S. government also strictly controls these supplies. At the same time, China's technology companies are also continuing to increase their independent research and development capabilities, trying to reduce their dependence on foreign suppliers. In recent years, the Chinese government's investment in the semiconductor industry has been significantly. With the increase in supply, many chip manufacturing projects have been launched one after another, and the speed of domestic substitution is accelerating. In addition, TSMC's suspension of supply has brought opportunities to other chip manufacturers. Competitors such as Samsung and Intel may take advantage of this opportunity to occupy the market share vacated by TSMC. Especially Samsung, the Korean technology giant, has invested a lot of resources in semiconductor manufacturing in recent years. If it can seize this opportunity, Samsung will have the hope of getting a bigger share in the Chinese mainland market. Behind TSMC's supply suspension, in the final analysis, the United States is suppressing China's technology industry in all aspects. Since 2018, the United States has used export controls, technology blockades, and talent loss to prevent China from developing in the high-tech field. Chips are the foundation of the modern technology industry. In this technological competition, it is regarded as a key battlefield. The U.S. sanctions policy is not only aimed at Chinese companies, but also restricts Chinese talents. These Chinese experts have indeed helped the development of American science and technology and made great contributions. However, their success also exposes the shortcomings of China's technology industry in cultivating and attracting talents. The United States imposed a blockade, but China's chip industry did not sit idly by. In recent years, the Chinese government has invested more money in the semiconductor industry and encouraged enterprises to conduct their own research and development to promote domestic chips to replace imported chips. Companies such as Huawei and SMIC have made some breakthroughs in the design and manufacturing of semiconductors. Especially in 5G communication chips and low-end chips, China has already achieved a certain degree of self-sufficiency. The biggest challenge facing China's chip industry is still the manufacturing capacity of high-end chips. Companies such as TSMC and Samsung are leading the world in the manufacture of chips with 7 nanometers and more advanced processes, but China's chip manufacturing level is at least 2 generations behind. If China wants to catch up with those leading companies, it must not only make breakthroughs in technology, but also cultivate more chip talents. After all, the lack of talent is another major problem facing China's chip industry. China has a large number of engineers and technicians, but in the field of cutting-edge chip design and manufacturing, there are still not enough talents who can reach the world's top level. The chip industry in the United States has attracted many Chinese experts. The loss of these talents is a big obstacle to the development of Chinese science and technology. Although the Chinese chip industry faces many challenges, its future is still full of hope. As the United States' technological blockade against China becomes increasingly serious, Chinese companies have also realized the importance of independent research and development and increased their investment in chip design and manufacturing. Companies such as SMIC and Huawei are actively promoting the research and development of domestic chips. In the next few years, China's chip industry is very likely to achieve the goal of self-sufficiency in the mid- and low-end markets. At the same time, the Chinese government is also vigorously promoting the cultivation of chip talents across the country, using methods such as strengthening university education and promoting industry-university research cooperation to solve the problem of insufficient talents. In the long run, this global science and technology competition is not only a competition in the market and technology, but also a competition of talents, resources, and national strategies. In this invisible battle, it will be a long and challenging process for the Chinese chip industry to rise, but it will inevitably have a profound impact on the global science and technology landscape.